there is very little probability that you have not come across the new Amazon series Invincible. Based on a very famous comic book, the series has a great IMDb rating and is making waves. The very first episode builds around this character being the ultimate superhero, strong and fearless. Just like any other comic book adaptation, one can barely notice any difference. However, that is not the case. Later in the episode, it is revealed that Omni-Man is indeed a villain in disguise. And that's where you realize the epicness of the series, and it is completely understandable that you binge watch the entire series. Now let's talk about one of the most loved characters of the series, Omni-Man, aka Nolan Grayson. Negative, but still one of the best. But before we go any further, do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Grayson was actually an alien, Viltrumite to be precise, from the planet Viltrum. His father was the leader there, who was killed when Grayson was young, thus he did not remember much about his father. After his father's death, Viltrumites organized themselves into the Viltrum Empire, and decide to conquer planets for the Empire. And guess who was the best at this job? Grayson. A virus, however, depleted Viltrumite population, leaving less than 50 behind, which forced them to take up a new strategy to accomplish their mission. Since the Viltrumites had long lifespans, they decide to infiltrate the societies first, and then deduct their chances of resistance. He chose Earth, met his Cecil, and started learning and adapting to human culture, and he even decided his name, Nolan Grayson. He met his wife-to-be Debbie, got married, and had a son, Mark, or the guy this show is named after, Invincible. Nolan, with Cecil's help, became Omni-Man to win over the Earthlings as the most powerful superhero. His battles with supervillains got him a chance to come across the Guardians of the Globe, who do look a lot like the Justice League. We know you thought so too. He made himself a story and made his friends, wife, as well as his son, believe in it. While fighting off the Flaxans along with Mark, Nolan was taken as a prisoner by them. When he escaped, he did not come back to Earth but chose to go back to his own world. By this time Mark had become a full-blown superhero like his father. Nolan was now ready with his plan to help Viltrumites take over Earth. He made a false call to the Guardians base. When each one of them was present, he slaughtered them one by one. Once, while fighting off a monster along with Mark, Nolan was interrupted by Immortal, one of the Guardians he had killed before. Nolan did not spare him this time either. He brutally bisected him. Nolan then revealed his true identity to Mark, telling him about his mission, about how he would go on to live 1,000 years, and eventually asking him to side with him. But being the actual superhero that he is, Mark declined his offer and had a fight with his own father. This father-son fight resulted in Nolan almost killing his own son, but then deciding otherwise and leaves for his planet, crying. After leaving, Grayson realizes he loves his family on Earth and decides to conquer another planet. Now in Thraxa, he is the leader of the planet, since the oldest person rules and he's lived for more than 1,000 years. When Mark visits him, Nolan embraces him. Nolan reveals his new family to Mark, and it is revealed that he is indeed a changed man now. The reason he had called Mark was to seek his help defend his new home planet from the Viltrumites. During this fight to save the planet, Nolan is injured and taken as a prisoner, but before he leaves, he asks Mark to read his books. During his time in prison, Nolan meets Alan, an alien from another planet who can communicate via telepathy, and informs him of his plan, a coalition of planets. Together, they escape the prison and prepare for the ultimate Viltrumite war. They head to Taliskria and meet Titus, who is a Viltrumite as well. Nolan and Alan carry out various missions for Titus. It is later revealed that Titus was the one to create the Scourge virus, unknown of the fact that it can cause mass genocide. Further, he admitted to creating a stronger version, which he would use if it is required. Nolan and Alan reach Earth to gain the power to fight off the Viltrumites. He is joined by many including Mark, Conquest, and Oliver. Conquest gets killed in the war, and it takes months for Mark to recover. Once recovered, the trio head to Taliskria. The very next day, Titus prepares the coalition for the final battle. They charge into Viltrum and successfully destroy the planet. After the explosion, Nolan is subdued by Viltrumites but is released after a shockwave. He sides with Titus and witnesses his decapitation by Thrag. Looking in shock, Nolan readies himself with Alan to fight the remaining Viltrumites. Thrag headbutts Nolan, throws him aside, and continues attacking Nolan and Mark. Thrag releases Nolan and attacks Mark. Nolan rushes to Mark's aid, only to be impaled and disemboweled. Thrag fights Mark and Mark launches Thrag towards the sun, thus defeating him. Later, we see Nolan on his deathbed, where he declares Mark to be the next leader of the Viltrumites. He says so as he is the one who changed Nolan, not long after Nolan succumbs to his injuries and dies. Though the series does not end here, This is where it ends for Nolan, Omni-Man. And that brings us to the end of our video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more such videos.